What's going on? I'm Larry Hoover Jr. and I'm rocking with Street Certified News.
Oh, it is your boy Kiss, man. Shout out to Street Certified News.
Yo, it's your boy L Hitter, Mr. Oh yeah, y'all already know what it is, man. I'm rocking with Street Certified News. We got behind the scenes, man. We finna tie this bitch up.
What up, it's your boy Bum J. We rocking with Street Certified News. Eastside Crazy.
Man, Street Certified News, man. Shout out Big Bo. Shout out Walker.
Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy MXL Guapo, man. Street Certified News. And we back with another one. Just like in every video, man. We gotta shout y'all out, man. The viewer, the supporter, man. We really appreciate your support. You know, LIL DURK, OTF, O-Block. The feds really, since the O-Block trial, they've been saying, hey, there were more RICOs coming and there were more cases coming. And just this past fall, we all, you know, witnessed the RICO takedown of OTF and LIL DURK. Now these guys are still awaiting trial. In this video, we gonna kind of look into some of the theories as to, you know, why and how LIL DURK, you know, got into this trouble and how he may be able to get out. Again, man, if you guys could hit that like, comment, subscribe, man, we would greatly appreciate it. It greatly helps the algorithm, you know what I'm saying? Helps our videos in the algorithm, helps people see these videos. We believe this video is one of those videos that need to be seen. So for this video, man, hey, if y'all could get us to 500 likes, man, it would be greatly appreciated. Like we said, man, we put in the work. We did the due diligence on this story involving LIL DURK, man. So, hey, without further ado, man, this week's story, how OTF Dede could, maybe he wants to, take the fall for LIL DURK, man, in this OTF RICO trial. Hey, it's your boy MXO Guapo, man. Street Certified News. Let's get right into it. LIL DURK was born October 19th, 1992 in Chicago, Illinois. Growing up in Inglewood, one of the roughest neighborhoods on the South Side, Durk would lose his father almost as soon as he was born, when Big Durk would be locked up when he was only 7 months old. Mainly raised by his brother D-Thing, Durk would start taking music serious as a teenager, especially after becoming a father at just 17 years old, while attending Paul Robeson High School. Durk would never finish high school, however, dropping out in his senior year to focus on his music and new family. In October 2011, Durk would get caught up in some of his first legal troubles when he was arrested on gun charges, including possession of a firearm with a defaced serial number. Being sentenced to only 3 months, this would also be around the same time Durk started dropping music consistently under the OTF banner. Eventually, 2 of his singles, Sneak Dissing and I'm a Hitter, would start making noise in the city, followed by his big breakout single, L's Anthem. Around that same time, another Chicago rapper named Chief Keef was becoming an international rap superstar. After the release of his breakout singles, 300, followed by the mega hit, I Don't Like, featuring Lil Reese. Those 2 songs, along with Keef's infectious energy, catapulted Chicago hip-hop into the forefront of mainstream rap. For LIL DURK, this meant much needed attention for other rappers like himself connected to Keef. On October 19th, 2012, LIL DURK dropped his 3rd mixtape, Life Ain't No Joke, and by December he was heating up even more with the L's Anthem, which was now a remix, featuring French Montana. In 2013, LIL DURK followed up his breakout success with This Ain't What You Want, a gritty yet melodic street single, which really started getting him even more attention. That same year, Durk signed a joint venture deal with Def Jam Recordings through his label Only the Family, and also connected with French Montana to become a part of his Coke Boys imprint. Just as things were looking up, trouble for LIL DURK would come knocking again. On June 5th, 2013, he was arrested after allegedly tossing a loaded .40 caliber handgun when police pulled up on him in Chicago. He was charged with unlawful use of a weapon by a felon and held on $100,000 bond. Rumors would later circulate that friend at the time, Chief Keef, could have easily paid the $10,000 cash bond for Durk, but declined to help the rapper, causing a major rift between GBE and OTF, which has never really been fixed to this day. Durk's lawyer would fight back, however, claiming to have 9 affidavits from witnesses stating that Durk was innocent, one of them even admitting that the gun was theirs. A little over a month later, on July 18th, Lil Durk would be released and all charges would be dropped. By October 2013, he was back on his grind and would tell XXL in an interview that he was working on the debut album under Def Jam. The industry was finally taking notice, and in 2014, Durk was officially named part of the XXL freshman class. At that time, a major accomplishment for a young artist, putting him on the map as one of rap's rising stars. Once Lil Durk began to reach mainstream success, he would form another group closely tied to OTF, Team 600. Team 600 would consist of young rappers, mainly from the 600 neighborhood of 59th and King Drive, including rappers like Rondo No. 9, C-Day, D-Rose, E-Day, Tay 600, and LA Capone. Team 600 in 2013 will begin to build a buzz outside the city and look to be the next batch of drill rappers to make mainstream noise. Consistently in the studio, Lil Durk and Team 600 began to enjoy the fame and money that came with being a successful rap group. However, for the team, the good times would not last. On September 26, 2013, Leonard LA Capone Anderson, an up-and-coming rapper and friend of Lil Durk, would be shot and killed while waiting for his ride after leaving a South Shore recording studio. The 17-year-old rapper, police claim, was walking through an alley near 70th Street in Stony Island when shots rang out and he was hit in his right thigh and lower back, eventually dying at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. After mourning the death of LA Capone, Lil Durk will begin to distance himself from the war in Chicago, while other Team 600 members would allegedly begin to terrorize the city, seeking revenge for their lost group member. Rondo No. 9, who famously went viral for taking a picture holding a rocket launcher, and C-Day would eventually be arrested in March of 2014 after the shooting and murder of a cab driver, Jovan Boyd, in a rival's neighborhood. Later that same year, some say police would frame 600 member D-Rose, government name Abir Sardine, for a murder he did not commit, due to police not being able to connect him to other crimes they suspected him of. Sadly, by 2014, LA Capone would be dead, and 3 original Team 600 members, Rondo, C-Day, and D-Rose, would be arrested for multiple murders, still being in prison to this day. For Lil Durk, the musical highs of 2013 and 2014 would also be shadowed by the death of friends and family. Although many drill fans believe that Durk's Team 600 was one of the best collectives ever, for those closest, it all ended really before it could ever get started. On May 31st, 2014, OTF Nunu, government name MacArthur Swindle, also known as Newski, was shot and killed while parked in a Southside parking lot. Nunu would be sitting in a parked SUV in the 700 block of East 87th Street when someone walked up and started shooting, killing him instantly. The vehicle Newski was in would then roll forward and hit the front of a store in the strip mall. Many people, when they heard about the shooting, felt that Nunu could have been targeted due to Lil Durk's affiliation with a number of BD sets that were at war on the south and east sides of Chicago, making Nunu a big name target due to his connection to Lil Durk and Team 600. This would now be the second major loss for Lil Durk and OTF. Then, on March 27th, 2015, Uchenna OTF Chino Dollar Ajina, Durk's friend and manager, would also be shot dead.
The Chicago Sun-Times will report that the 24-year-old was sitting in a car about 1:50 a.m. on the 8400 block of South Stony Island in front of a restaurant called Stony Sub when someone walked up and opened fire. The news would come only a few days after Lil Durk will release his debut album single, Like Me, featuring Jeremiah. With 2 members of OTF being killed within a year and his Team 600 falling apart due to jail sentences, Lil Durk would further distance himself from the violent gangs in Chicago when he would officially move his family and record label OTF to Atlanta, Georgia.
Around this 2015-2016 time, Lil Durk had been in the industry for a little bit over 5 years. He had deals with Coke Boys, he had deals with Def Jam, and a lot of people believe that the industry had already kind of gave them the big push they were going to give them. Some people even consider Lil Durk around 2015-2016 as potentially, a mainstream flop. Durk did have the This Ain't What You Want single, as well as the My Beyonce single with Dej Loaf. So he did have some records that was really out there, but a lot of people were looking what was going to be next from Lil Durk at OTF. And in 2017, fans would unknowingly get what they were asking for. The new era of OTF and Lil Durk, when Davon Bennett, aka King Von, will be released from jail.
In December 2017, Davon Bennett, also known as King Von, will be released from jail after being acquitted on the 2014 first-degree murder charge. Immediately, King Von will begin making music and signed to OTF through a management deal from Durk's older brother, Deontay Banks, aka D-Thang, the then acting president of OTF. Within a year of being released from prison, King Von would go on to drop multiple hit singles, including Beat That Body featuring THF Bezu, the multi-platinum hit Crazy Story, which premiered originally on Lil Durk's own YouTube channel to millions of views, and the street single Exposing Me featuring Mimo 600. The emergence of King Von musically was solidified what Lil Durk had created way back in 2010. Now OTF wasn't just a label of Lil Durk, now they had King Von, which meant Von's next stop was the new home of OTF, Atlanta, Georgia. On February 5th, 2019, and just days after the Super Bowl was held in the city, outside a downtown restaurant called The Varsity, Alexander Witherspoon, a 23-year-old man, would suffer critical injuries after being shot from someone in an SUV. Following news reports and now a viral video of the crime, Lil Durk and newly signed label mate King Von will both be identified as being present on the scene and charged with criminal attempt to commit murder and aggravated assault. According to prosecutors, the 2 men robbed and shot Witherspoon outside the popular Atlanta drive-in for a Jeep Cherokee and $30,000. Famously, Lil Durk will release his single, Before I Turn Myself In, only hours before actually turning himself in to Atlanta police to fight the charges. After weeks in jail, Durk and Von will be released on $250,000 and $300,000 bond, respectively. In that same year, close friend of Lil Durk and part of OTF since the beginning, DeAndre Wilson, aka OTF Dede, will be released from jail on a $90,000 bond paid by Lil Durk himself, stemming from a 2014 murder case. Soon after being released on bond, however, a video of Dede would go viral when he was set up by a girl he went to go meet and kidnapped by friends of the man he allegedly murdered. During the video, made by the alleged kidnappers, Dede was forced to eat used film pads and had all of his dreadlocks cut off while simultaneously pleading for his life. Following the kidnapping, OTF Dede would be set free, and the video will be released to the internet, causing Dede to effectively go into hiding for a number of years due to the embarrassment. Although he was never officially dropped as an artist from OTF after the kidnapping, he would take a break from music, eventually becoming part of management for OTF Records. Meanwhile, King Von, off the success of his first project, was signed with Empire Records and a joint venture deal with CEO Ghazi Shami. Having been offered a similar deal by Lil Durk himself and OTF, some would secretly whisper that Lil Durk could have held a grudge about the failed venture with his friend. However, publicly, Durk has never changed his support for Von, causing many in the public to not even know that Von was never officially OTF.
Once King Von, got his bread, got his major deals, he was on Empire now. There was debate, but after this O Block Rico trial, we really know that King Von would take some of that money that he received when he signed that major deal, and he would take it back to O Block, infamously with the video where he's passing out money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now later, people close to Von would claim that these were payments for artists that he planned to sign to O Block Records, a new record label he had started. However, the feds alleged that this $100,000 was actually prepayment for the contract that he put on Chicago rapper FBG Duck's head. We've already told the story about FBG Duck during that O Block Rico trial. We extensively went through that story, so if you want to know about specifically FBG Duck, you guys can check out some older videos that we have on our channel. This video is more about like Lil Durk and his path and how he got to where he is currently and what potentially could happen. But sadly, only a few months after this quote unquote $100,000 was given to O Block, in August of 2020, FBG Duck would be killed by 5 O Block shooters. Like we said, man, this was a very sad time. It's a whole extra part of the story that we're not gonna tell here. But these O Block shooters would eventually be connected to King Von, as well as Lil Durk's older brother Dede. Now, feds will also admit during the testimony that they did try to connect Lil Durk to the OTF Rico, but were unable to. And then in cross-examination, they also admitted that there were additional investigations and cases involving these same groups of men that were coming up for indictment. About a year later, we would all find out it stems from the 2022 murder of LUL PAB, Quando Rondo's best friend. And they ended up accusing Lil Durk, as well as his closest associates, of not only murder for hire, but racketeering and a continuous criminal enterprise.
On November 6, 2020, and only months after allegedly orchestrating and paying for the hit on FBG Duck, Lil Durk's friend and former artist King Von was shot and killed in Atlanta, Georgia, slain by a member of his former friend Quando Rondo's entourage. The death of King Von would put into motion the events of the next 5 years for Durk, Dede, and OTF. Having been captured on CCTV video, the death of King Von would instantly go viral and make Quando Rondo and his shooter Timothy Leaks enemies of OTF and anyone even closely related to the label or Lil Durk. Given Durk's years of networking in both Chicago and now Atlanta, those in the industry would blackball Quando Rondo, and the streets believed he may have even had a price on his head. On June 6, 2021, Lil Durk's older brother, Deontay D. Banks Jr., would be exiting the Chicago strip club Club O when he was shot and killed in front of a crowd of people going home. Although the shooter was never caught, the FBI alleges that only hours later, the leader of the Smashville GD, Stephon Mack, would be gunned down in retaliation for the death. Lil Durk had now lost his closest friend and brother, Von and Dede, all within a year of the FBG Duck hit. Feeling the heat, and after a home invasion in which both Durk and his girlfriend discharged their weapons, Lil Durk would begin closing in his circle, leaving OTF Dede and Vonnie to take on bigger business roles within the company. On August 18th, 2022, while at a gas station in the upscale Los Angeles neighborhood, Rapper Quando Rondo's entourage would be ambushed by gunmen in a white vehicle, and Quando's black truck would be sprayed with bullets, killing his close friend Savia Robinson, aka LUL PAB. While initially, police would say that there were no suspects, many believed the rapper was targeted due to his affiliation with the Los Angeles gang, the Rolling 60s Crips, who he wasn't on the best of terms with at that time. Later, word was spread, and the feds would allege that they were beginning to connect LUL PAB's case and others directly to LIL DURK and his closest associates. 2023 was a triumphant year for Lil Durk. His single All My Life featuring J. Cole easily became the song of the year, and his album Almost Healed would be a major success, both critically and by sales numbers in general, winning Durk his second Grammy for Best Melodic Rap Performance. As 2023 would come to a close, Lil Durk's musical success would again be interrupted by his problems with law enforcement, when he was mentioned by federal agents during the FBG Doug murder and O-Block Rico trial. When cross-examined, agents were forced to admit that they tried to connect Lil Durk to the case but were unable to. The agent also during testimony alluded to future cases already being ready for indictment. The 5 O-Block shooters and 1 accomplice will go on to be found guilty and are all still unsentenced to this day. In 2024, Lil Durk, already a practicing Muslim, would further dive into his Islamic faith when he legally changed his name to Mustafa Abdul Malak, as well as met with then state prosecutor Kim Fox to discuss how he could help the city stop the growing violence. Distancing himself from his former friends, Durk will proclaim on social media that he no longer was the same person, and that he no longer held any allegiance to any neighborhoods from Chicago. Lil Durk will also reach out to popular Chicago personality FYBJ Maine about playing his part in the peace movement, which was now becoming popular amongst rap artists. During the summer of 2024, Lil Durk will become more active politically within Chicago when he began meeting with public officials, including Mayor Brandon Johnson. Lil Durk will also donate thousands of dollars to suburban cities throughout his Neighborhood Heroes Foundation, later receiving keys to both cities, Broadview and Bellwood, Illinois. In October 2024, Lil Durk will host a birthday concert for himself in Chicago's United Center. In hindsight, the star-studded concert will mark a noticeable high point for Lil Durk and OTF. By this point, the FBI had already began drafting indictments against Lil Durk and others for the murders of LUL PAB. On Thursday, October 24th, 2024, only days after celebrating Lil Durk's triumphant birthday show at the United Center, OTF Dede, Vonnie, and 3 men, Keith Jones, Asa Houston, aka Boogie, and David Lindsay, were all arrested by U.S. Marshals and charged with the 2022 murder of Savia Robinson, aka LUL PAB. Originally reading through the indictment, a number of unnamed co-conspirators would stand out, and many outlets would wonder if Lil Durk would eventually be arrested and charged. Only one day later, on October 25th, 2024, Durk Devontae Banks, aka Mustafa Abdul Malak, aka Lil Durk, would be arrested by federal authorities while attempting to board a private flight at a Miami airport. Weeks later, the superseding indictment would be filed, naming Lil Durk as co-conspirator 1 in a criminal enterprise that was responsible for the death of Savia Robinson, aka LUL PAB. Federal agents would claim that on August 18th, 2022, Durk, Dede, and Vonnie would travel to Los Angeles, California. Durk and Vonnie would arrive first via a private flight, while unnamed co-conspirator 3 would book flights for the rest of the accused men and other unnamed co-conspirator to fly into San Diego after receiving a text from Durk to not book flights using anything connected to him. Once in California, feds alleged OTF Vonnie would procure 2 rental vehicles as well as masks and firearms, and the group will begin tracking Quando Rondo and his black truck throughout Los Angeles. After following their target to multiple locations, the next day on August 19th, 2022, the group of OTF shooters and still unnamed co-conspirator are alleged to have caught the black truck at a Los Angeles gas station where multiple shots were fired and LUL PAB will be murdered.
There are two people that are very pivotal to this case for LIL DURK, and that would be OTF Vonnie and OTF Dede. It's not much direct evidence that connects LIL DURK to this case, other than the text message where he says, "Hey, whatever y'all do, leave me out of it." Now that text message could be a sign of guilt for LIL DURK, but it could also be a sign of innocence for LIL DURK. Looking at the indictment, OTF Vonnie, who did fly into Los Angeles on the private flight with DURK, is accused of then renting the rental cars, purchasing masks, as well as procuring weapons. While OTF Dede, he would fly into San Diego, California with the alleged shooters. It's also alleged that after the murder of LUL PAB, OTF Dede would be the one who actually sent the funds to the shooter, you know, quote unquote, paying for the hit. So LIL DURK did not purchase any flights. He did not purchase any weapons. He did not purchase any tools. And once the deal was done, OTF Dede is the one who actually paid out, you know, the shooters. This was like in January of 2025. The internet kind of was in an uproar about OTF Dede and OTF Vonnie's lawyers inquiring about discovery and looking to potentially plead guilty. They were kind of looking like, hey, if we were to plead guilty, what would it look like now? Many people on the internet believe that that was potentially OTF Vonnie or OTF Dede setting themselves up to turn against LIL DURK, when I kind of, you know, I saw it a little differently. If OTF Vonnie and OTF Dede, if all of the evidence points to them, then there's potentially an opportunity where they were able to plead guilty, admit to the things that, you know, there's evidence against them, and then also use that text message that LIL DURK sent to prove that, hey, LIL DURK didn't want nothing to do with this. King Von was also our friend, and whatever happened, you know, in retaliation for his death was something that LIL DURK explicitly told us he didn't want to be a part of. There's a chance now, if everybody keep their mouth shut, man, you know, the feds gonna do what they do. But, you know, by the story, you know, that y'all seen, by the video, there's an opportunity where OTF Dede and OTF Vonnie can say, hey, this was something that we orchestrated on our own, and LIL DURK explicitly told us he wanted nothing to do with it. Hey, again, man, like we said, man, appreciate y'all for rocking with us, man. It's your boy MXO Guapo. Street Certified News, man. We love you. We out.